Okay, let's continue with Antique Bible reading number 12. We're still going over illustrations of ancient coins and gems. Mithridates the Sixth was the last of a line of kings of Pontus, said to have had a Persian origin. About 337 BC, he was the most powerful enemy the Romans had to contend with next to Hannibal, as estimated by Cicero. He was father-in-law to Tigranes. See dictionary, page 92. Demetrius II, son of Demetrius I, number 8, was taken prisoner by Mithridates VI and held nearly 9 years, who gave him his daughter for a wife, during which time his brother Antiochus VII held the throne of Syria and espoused Cleopatra, wife of Demetrius, but was deposed on his return. He is mentioned in Maccabees, 1 Maccabees 10, 11, 12, and 14, and in Josephus, ANT period, I'm not sure what that stands for, the 13th, 9 and 3. As a friend to the Jews reducing their tribute. He wore a beard after the Parthian fashion, while nearly every other Syrian king in that age shaved, as appears on their coins. Nearly all these kings were occupied in wars and intrigues to the exclusion of any measures for the improvement of the condition of their people. That sounds familiar. Tryphon was a usurper named Diodotus, from near Apamea, and was an officer of the court of Alexander Balas, who pretended a friendship for the young king Antiochus VI, son of Alexander, and whom usurped the throne after killing him. He put his name on the coins of the young king, as seen in the dictionary, page 8, C1, Maccabees 11, 13, etc. Antiochus VII expelled Tryphon and took his brother's wife. He made concessions to Simon, quote, high priest and prince of the Jews, end quote. 1 Maccabees 15, Josiah and 13:7-3. He afterward besieged Jerusalem, but made honorable terms with John Hyrcanus, 133 BC, who accompanied him against the Parthians, where he was killed. This coin was struck at Tarsus. The shrine on the reverse of this coin contained a figure of the Greek goddess Hera, Juno in Rome, standing on a lion, holding on the left hand 2 palm branches, the right hand extended, holding a staff or a scepter. She was called Queen of Heaven in Jeremiah 7:18, and so forth. On each side of the lion is a vase or cup for the drink offerings mentioned by Diodorus. A star over her head refers to the planet which was sacred to her. She was called the goddess of Syria, and had a great statue in her honor at Hierapolis. Daniel 11:38. Called also Astarte, Ashtaroth, Melita, and Alida. Alexander II was a purchased slave, Zabina, and a pretender to the throne, favored by Ptolemy, Physcon of Egypt, for his own purposes, but was deposed by him after 6 years for refusing to pay tribute. He imitated the coins of Balas, putting a head of Zeus or Dionysius instead of his own, And on the reverse, Pallas, or an elephant, horn of plenty, tripod, eagle, anchor, etc. The coin of Cleopatra and Antiochus VIII presents the heads of mother and son. She is entitled goddess on the reverse, Theas. See coin 9 for an earlier portrait of Cleopatra. This king does not appear in Scripture, but was an active man, sometimes called illustrious, Epiphanes, and also Grypus or Grypus. I'm not sure. I'm going to say Grypus. Hooknose. He was a man of energetic character. Antiochus IX was named Cyzicenus from the city where he was educated by Craterus, and his coins add the title Patriot, Philopatros. He was a son of Antiochus VII, and born while Demetrius was a prisoner among the Parthians. His mother was Cleopatra. He shared the kingdom with his brother Grypus, having, I'm not sure what that word is, Syria and Palestine with his residence at Damascus. His wife had been repudiated by Ptolemy Lathyrus of Egypt and brought him an army as a dowry. She was killed by order of her sister, Tryphena, at the altar of the sanctuary of Antioch. Besides his own head, he put on the coins those of Hercules, Zeus, Eros, Pallas, and Apollo, Tyche, Dionysius, and Artemis, besides the anchor and various emblematic figures. This coin was struck at Sidon. This is interesting history, and I've read bits and pieces of it before, of course. Something to be considerate of is that in these times the Bible was used as the primary textbook for school. So children learn about the world and history and about life in general by reading the Bible. So this Bible is a really good example of what they learned in school at that time. I'm sure it was used as a textbook by some because it kind of covers both the world and scriptures at the same time and teaches the children everything there is to know about life from this perspective at that particular time in history. So this is interesting because today we're bombarded with media and entertainment, but in those days this would be the height of entertainment in a lot of cases if it wasn't like a play act or some sort of physical feat of gymnastics or something, some sort of special ability. People would sit around in the evening and read to each other while they did chores or, whatever, instead of watching TV like we do today or stare at our phones. So keep that in mind. Knowing this information would have been very basic back then. Today, I read a ton, and I know I've read some of this before, but I don't have it committed to memory. It's not something that I'm very, very well read on. So, I've read the entire series on the rise and fall of the Roman Empire, among many other things, but, that stuff doesn't always stick. So it takes a lot of repetition to learn all that. I prefer to focus on the lives of the saints, which aren't discussed here, to get a completely different perspective on these characters. You might read the records of the Orthodox Church, the Christian Church, which gives the Christian point of view. This is a kind of a worldly point of view mixed with Protestant Christian views, which is kind of mixed up because Roman Catholics mingled the world and or Christianity together, which doesn't work. So anyway, food for thought while we read through these. Pray for me, a sinner. God bless you. Over and out.